This is 30. That's a 300 movie reference. Get it? Add the 30 instead of Sparta. Never mind. Let's talk money goals, but not lame smart goals, exciting goals. Today I'm covering the top 5 goals you should set and conquer in your 30s for financial independence in your 40s or 50s and beyond. Maybe even early retirement, the most exciting financial goal of all. My name is Frankie and I talk all things financial independence and early retirement twice a week here. I'm the author of The Money Resolution and Money You Can Hack It. Subscribe if you're into getting good with money. One tip, hack, or actionable piece of advice at a time. Anyways, shit gets real in your 30s. You can get away with the I'll figure it out later mentality in your 20s, but in your 30s, it's time to do some real life adulting financially. That's what we're all about today. But again, the fun parts of goal setting. So this one goes out to you older millennials because, by the way, millennials are about to be responsible for 3/4 of the world's wealth. Yes, I just made that stat up and it's very not true, I learned. But let's do better, yeah? Without further ado, let's dive in. 5 exciting goals to set in your 30s that get more exciting as we go, plus bonuses at the end you don't want to miss. Starting with number 1, build an FU fund. See, almost cursing is already fun. I talked about the FU fund recently, and I mentioned I'm not a huge fan of the phrase. One of you commented and called it peace out money instead, which is awesome, but I'll stick with FU because FU is such a 30-something-year-old thing to say. I literally said FU to a bad driver the other day. He didn't hear me, obviously, because the windows were up. The idea of an FU fund is building up savings of 1 to 2 years of expenses that aren't necessarily earmarked for anything. Having this amount of cash on hand is liberating. It's eye-opening. Possibilities open up, like looking for a different, more enjoyable job, even if it doesn't earn the same amount of money, or taking a mini retirement. Check out this video next if the word mini retirement just got you to put your second screen down and pay attention. I get it. I do it too. With an FU fund, there's freedom in knowing you can quit your job or would at least be totally fine if you lost your job. It really does change your perspective about work when you no longer feel like you desperately need it. Instead, you take control back, and that can give you more confidence in negotiating a new job offer salary or asking for a raise. I'm assuming everyone must have an FU fund because everyone seems to be quitting their jobs these days. But don't do it without peace out money, please. Let me know what you think of this big job exodus that's been happening lately. Number 2, pay fewer taxes legally. It doesn't get much more exciting than the opposite of paying more taxes, at least for money nerds like me and maybe you. First of all, contribute as much as you can to tax advantage retirement accounts like a 401k or IRA. For the sake of round numbers, let's say you make $100,000 in a year and you max out your 401k, which is $19,500 as of 2021, you'd only owe taxes as if you had earned $80,500. That's nearly a 20% off sale on taxes, and who doesn't love 20% off? But if you contribute another $6,000 to max out a traditional IRA, congratulations, you've just reduced your taxable income by more than 25% overall. And if you're over 50, you can contribute even more to these tax advantage accounts. By contributing the max for these 2 retirement accounts combined, you could reduce your taxable income by $33,000 again in 2021. And 33% off is a tax sale I definitely attend. It gets better. If you have a high deductible healthcare plan and a health savings account, an HSA, you could max your HSA out and reduce your taxable income by another $3,600 as an individual or by $7,200 if you have family coverage. So max out your 401k, IRA, and HSA for the tax savings. Anyways, there's a lot more to research, explore, and consider, especially if you own a business, have educational expenses, or own a home, but hopefully this gets you started and excited. Prioritize maxing out any and all available tax advantage retirement accounts before individual investing. If you do, you're crushing it financially. You absolutely earn buying tickets to the new Space Jam movie. Seriously, what other movie gets a sequel 25 years later? Can you think of any? Let me know. Number 3, establish a 6-figure net worth. In my last video, I covered goals in your 20s, and some of those included paying off credit card and car debts. I also mentioned saving your first $10,000. In your 30s, aim to 10x that. But not by 40. I would actually aim to do it by 35 ideally. In your 20s, you should know and track your net worth. In your 30s, you should aim to get to 6 figures at a minimum. It took me 35 years of life to get to 6 figures. Aim though to reach 250,000 or more at minimum by age 40. That would be an excellent, challenging but feasible goal to set. It would definitely get you on the path to financial independence and likely early retirement. By the way, I use Personal Capital to track my net worth and totally recommend it. It is free, and as I always say, if it's free, it's me. I'll link to that in the description. Again, it took me over 35 years to reach $100,000 net worth, and you better believe I celebrated it in a fiscally responsible way. You should do the same for sure. Goals are even more fun if you set a fun way to celebrate success ahead of time. When I achieved $100,000, it was actually just a few months ago in early March. And as I filmed this on the 4th of July, it's right around $140,000. That's not a weird flex. I just share this transparently to show you that once you get the ball rolling and check other goals off this list today, your second $100,000 is so much easier than your first $100,000. I bet I'll reach my next $100,000 milestone 10 times faster. Now that's exciting. Number 4, own a home. The American dream. At least I think home ownership is still part of that. Look, this is an awkward one to highlight as a goal at this exact moment. I just learned the housing market rose faster than ever in April, and I'm sure the trend continued in May and June when those stats become available. We tried hard and failed at buying in the Seattle market, but we won't give up. We'll get back at it, likely in the non-peak season, and be patient. They say the right house will find you, and I actually don't know if they say it, but if I say it enough out loud, it'll be true. The rent versus buy debate can be a whole video in and of itself, but quickly, what I like about buying is that it creates forced savings. Making a mortgage payment actually increases your net worth, unlike paying rent, and it's a hedge against inflation, because just like with the stock market, the housing market goes up generally over time. Plus, you can keep your monthly mortgage payments flat and predictable, unlike rising rent rates. You can also make upgrades if your heart desires, making the value of your home go up exponentially more if you do it right. If you don't own a home already in your 20s, your 30s is a great time to set buying a home you plan to live in for at least 5 years as a goal. Anything less than 5 years, you actually might be better off renting financially. As a bonus here, buy a second piece of property as a rental property if you can swing it. Perhaps consider a live and flip as well and take advantage of tax benefits for doing so. Either way, real estate can be a fantastic way to grow your net worth, but get educated about all things home ownership before you overextend and end up cash poor. Number 5, don't hold back on having the wedding and honeymoon of your dreams. Now, this one's personal as we're less than 70 days from our wedding. Initially, I thought we'd set a strict budget and stick to it tooth and nail. We're already at our original projection with thousands more in costs ahead of us. And you know what? That's totally okay. The more we talk about it, the more we realize you only get married once, ideally. You won't look back and regret spending extra money, but I have had friends already look back and tell me they regret not spending a little bit more money in certain areas. Their advice, spend the money. Of course, don't take on a ton of debt to do so, or ideally any debt. Set a budget and know it's likely though that you're gonna go over by at least 20%. So have that extra cash saved up just in case. I don't want this one to be misinterpreted though. Don't go extravagant or overboard, but learn to loosen up and spend a little extra money here and there for your special day so that you don't have any regrets. While we don't want and we won't allow debt from a wedding to start our marriage off in a financial hole, we also don't want to start our forever life together fighting over small extra expenses here and there or regretting not spending a little more to make it absolutely perfect. Luckily, we were able to book the bulk of our honeymoon using credit card points. That certainly helps, and doing the same can be a fun bonus money goal to set. I did cover travel and points in my previous video about goals in your 20s, so again, watch that one next if you haven't seen it. Bonus time, here are 4 less exciting but important financial goals to dominate in your 30s. The first is to fully pay off your student loans, because by the time you reach 40, you'll be almost 20 years out of college. It's time to graduate from that payment. Next, write your will, womp womp, but do it. Make giving a priority. Look for opportunities to help others and establish this as a habit. And finally, get term life insurance while you're young and healthy. I have a 30-year, $250,000 policy that costs me just $21 a month through Haven Life. I'll link to Haven Life below. I do totally recommend the company and term life insurance in general. It's also a no-brainer, I think, if you have a family. Goals are great, but I have to end by saying this. Whoever you are, remember to have some damn fun with your money. Hard work deserves rewards, and money shouldn't be all goal in business. If spending money makes you feel guilty, watch this video next I made recently. I promise it'll help loosen you up and help you get better at spending money guilt-free. Thank you as always for your time today. I genuinely value it and try to respect it by jam-packing every minute with useful content and bad jokes. I'd love to know though, which goal on this list spoke to you today? Do you have any goals you'd like to add to this list for others? Did you also go over budget on your wedding? And should I keep this series going and talk exciting goals in your 40s, goals for teens, 50s? Let me know. Like if you liked and got value out of this one, I put out videos twice a week that usually cover early retirement on a lot of them, the most exciting finance goal of all. So subscribe if you want to be sure YouTube shows you more content from me. My name is Frankie. Your name is ridiculously cool for getting to the end. And I hope to see you guys in a few days on the next one. Thanks.